You know, I know that for the last several months, if not the last 6 months, Xbox has had pretty bad negative news surrounding it. They ended the year with price hikes and not selling well on the consoles, and everybody seemed like Xbox just didn't understand what gamers wanted. Yet, I knew in the back of my mind that every year when they start off the year, in January, they have this developer direct. And I have to say, for the last several years, these developer directs are kind of one of the best highlights that Xbox has every single year. They bring out games that look awesome. They have developers up in front talking about them. They're not sitting there talking for 35 minutes or 50 minutes about the game. They're kind of showing you what they're talking about because we see gameplay, we get release dates, and I think it looks pretty awesome. And so this year was no different. The developer direct came and went, and I have to say that they announced 4 games that look pretty awesome. Did all of them look amazing? Did all of them look like something that we all wanted to play? That's up for you to decide. But I gotta say that they showed off Forza Horizon 6, Fable, Beast of Reincarnation, and some weird pottery game called Kiln. Never even thought about it. Looks super imaginative, but hey, I kind of want to get into all of them, see what they have to say, and really dive deep into Fable because I think that's what everybody was waiting for. And so we have AMAs, we have a bunch of interviews with the developers talking about the games a little bit more. So let's get into everything that was said and see if this showcase lived up to the hype. Let's do this. All right, so you know the drill. If you like the channel, hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support helps out the channel more than you know. So I kind of just want to dive right into this. The first game I want to talk about is Forza Horizon 6. Listen, Forza is one of my favorite games. Not the sim racer one, the Horizon one, the open world ones. I have played every single one of them completely. I put several hours into each one. I played all their expansions. And I have to say that Forza Horizon 6 looks stunning. And I know a lot of people were looking at it and going, man, this looks really good because the visuals were off the charts. I'm going to put it up right now for you guys so you can see this, but it looked absolutely stunning. The setting of Japan really brings the game together. This is a place and a location that a lot of people have been asking for years. I feel like everybody's been like, can we do some racing in Japan, please? Like, this would look awesome there. And Playground Games went there. And the best thing I got to say about that is that they didn't just go there and release the game after 2 years like they did every Forza Horizon. They waited several years and really gave it its due diligence to make that place look and feel like Japan when you're running around. That's honestly the best compliment I can give them because that's exactly what they did. You had people on there talking about the culture of Japan, making sure that they understood what people in Japan would see or witness, and of course, how it felt to be there. And I gotta say, man, oof, that game looks amazing. Like, wow. The visuals are bar none. It's the best racing game to me personally out there right now. I don't know how anybody else can justify any other game being up there but besides Horizon, man. They sell multiple millions, tens of millions of units. It is kind of broken off into more of not just hardcore gamers or hardcore racers playing it. It's everyone playing it. That game is hit the casual market. It is kind of just blown up, and it's probably Xbox's biggest franchise they have right now, next to Halo, Gears, and Forza, right? And this is the Forza that really took over the racing kind of scene with games, and they didn't disappoint at all. And they also are the only ones that gave a release date, which is May 19th, with an early access of May 15th. You better believe I'm gonna be there day one. I'm gonna be all over that, man. I mean, that to me, the biggest surprise was they're the only ones that had a release date at the developer direct. But I know a lot of people are gonna think this is weird, but I'm happy it was this game because this is the game I was most looking forward to playing. Yes, even above Fable. I know. People are gonna jump on me for that, and we'll get into Fable and go into some of the interviews that they had with that game. But right now, I want to focus on Forza Horizon 5 because I thought it looked amazing. And I want to know what you guys think because being in the setting of Japan, it feels like that was the next step. And I have a hard time thinking about what the next game is going to be, where they can go, because Japan is just one of those places that people really wanted to explore within the Forza Horizon world and go racing, do drifting, do whatever they wanted to over there because that's what it is. And plus it has stunning architecture and of course visuals, and the landscape looks great. So I wanted to just give you a little bit of a rundown of what was shown and what they talked about, and this article kind of wraps it up perfectly. Gameplay shown today revealed that you'll initially play as a rookie racer who's just a tourist in Japan. You'll also be joined by two close friends, passionate motorsports enthusiast Jordy and experienced Japanese car builder Mei, who will give you an insider's perspective on your journey. Pick up wristbands and rise up the ranks, and you'll soon be on your way around Japan. From its breathtaking rural mountains to the heart of Tokyo, 550 cars will be available in-game at launch, the most for any Forza Horizon game, including the game's cover cars, the 2025 GRT prototype, and the 2025 Toyota Land Cruiser. A major new addition is the estate, a large plot of land in the mountains you can build up from scratch, placing buildings, roads, and invite your friends in for a tour. The end of today's showing revealed the briefest tease of a hulking Gundam, though that was all we got to see for now. Now, I know a lot of people are really excited. They ended that with the Gundam thing, which I think is awesome. I think that's a really cool little tease, and I'm not sure if it's going to be there at the launch of the game, but if you looked at everything that they've done so far, like the Hot Wheels DLC, all that, they've kind of had some awesome DLCs, like the Lego one that kind of goes outside of their comfort zone. It's not just a sim racer that you're flying around arcadey in the world. It is way more fantastical. I really enjoy that, especially the Hot Wheels ones. I've enjoyed those thoroughly. And the Lego one was just something a little different and it felt cool. But man, I love the Hot Wheels one. And I hope that's kind of what's happening with the Gundam. Maybe they have something really cool planned for that. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, I just want to jump into the next game because there's a lot to cover. And I want to focus on the big games that were at the event, like the real big ones that everybody was looking forward to, which is Fable. Now, I know everybody was looking forward to this game, and so was I, but I do have to say that Fable isn't one of those franchises that I go bonkers over. It is one of those franchises that I was looking forward to. I hope they were taking a kind of new spin to the game and making it their own, which is very much a tall ask with a franchise that is established like Fable. And I know it hasn't come out in, 15 years, however long it's been, but I think Playground Games had an opportunity here to kind of make their own fantastical fairy tale land that people can jump into and make it their own. That's what I was looking forward to. That's what I kind of wanted from them. And I think they had the same idea because in this article, they kind of mentioned that. How are you balancing making a new game while honoring Lionhead's work? Fulton said, it's one of the questions that was asked ourselves right at the start. What are the essential components of a Fable game? And I don't mean the features or the locations, I mean conceptually. Really, what is the essence of Fable? But one of the things I said to the team was, look, we are not Lionhead. We can't try to make a Lionhead game. This has to be Playground's game because I'm a real firm believer that the personality and the character of a team is visible in the work they do and the games they make. And I think you can see Lionhead in that original trilogy. It would be pointless, I think, for us to try and app that. And that's really at the heart of the reboot question, right? It felt imperative to me that this was a reboot because we're starting again as Playground Games and making Playground's Fable. And if I'm totally honest, back then, I wasn't entirely sure how faithful our Fable game would be to the Lionhead games we love. But as I said during Developer Direct, I've been really pleased to see that this is unidentifiably a Fable game in lots of different ways. Now, I have to say that I actually agree with that. I think kind of respecting what came before but making your own is something that you need to do when you're creative. You can't just follow in the footsteps of someone else because then you're kind of stunting your own creativity. So good job on them for doing that. Now, the only critique I will say is that they talked about a lot of like the old school Fable in the Developer Direct. They brought it up a lot. They kept saying that they want to make sure they respect it, blah, 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 and it has all this stuff. And if you remember in Fable, you could do this. So it was almost like they had their foot in independence, trying to make it their own, but also had a foot in we're still trying to respect the old school because we're a little bit worried of the backlash we might get from it. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel if they really wanted to rush in and do it themselves and be that independent developer, should have done that. Because then I would have seen it a little bit better if we saw Playground Games really make it Playground. Because so far, it did feel and look like an older Fable game. Not visually, I'm just talking about the essence, the feel of it. I think they got that right from what Fable looked like before. And you could see that in the gameplay, you can see that in the world, and I actually enjoyed that aspect of it. I understand that they wanted to respect the old school, but also bring kind of like their new spin on it because they're their creatives also. And I think that's all right. I don't know if it's something that you can do, if you can balance the two, but I guess you have to play the game and feel it to really understand that. And we have to think about this also. This is a full reboot, which is what they bring up in the article here. Is this a full reboot of the entire series, or does it sit on the existing Fable timeline? Fulton said, "We've always referred to this game as a new beginning because one of the things we are convinced of was that we had to reboot the franchise. It's been a long time since the end of that original trilogy. Nearly 2 generations have passed in video game terms. And those original games are still available to play today, looking even better than they did back then thanks to the wizardry of backwards compatibility. So we've chosen not to be beholden to the timeline of the original games, the events, the characters, really just to allow ourselves the freedom to build our own Albion and tell our own new story within it. There's a lot of faithfulness in the way we've approached this game, and certainly I think the inspiration of the original trilogy is really clear for everyone to see. But we wanted to make sure that this was a new beginning that would allow us to tell the stories that we wanted to tell." So yeah, I think that's actually pretty cool. I think that's great that you're really giving it its due diligence to make it your own. And I also like that they wanted to reboot this. You don't want to be beholden to all the decisions that happened there before, because all these lore masters online are going to come at you if you have any deviation from the story from the last 3 games. So just kind of a clean slate. Let them get what they want out of it. Let them create the characters they want out of it. And honestly, that's one of my biggest critiques, is there wasn't a lot of characters. I'm glad that you could create your own character, because a lot of people didn't really like the way the main character looked when they announced it. But so far, so good. You can make your own character. You can design them the way you want. You can make them the way you want. And that's what I want. I want to build my own adventure. I want to make the character that I connect with the most, not someone that created them in the lab connected with. So that's kind of like what I'm happy about. But overall, so far so good when you look at that. And yet one of the biggest standouts to me was the world. They really showed out a lot of the world and what it looked like, the areas you're going to be exploring, the quests, and they said it's an open world game, seamless open world. So you can go from one end of the map to the other end seamlessly right at the beginning. It doesn't matter. You get the freedom to open this world up any way you want and explore it any way you want. And that's what the article mentions here. How does the open world work? Are you level gating or encouraging people to go to places in a certain order? Fulton said, "Right from the start of the project, we've always felt it was important that the player can go wherever they want. From the moment you leave your village and venture out into Albion for the first time, even if we know the majority will do the sensible thing, I've got to save my grandma, we know there are a bunch of players who are going to be like, okay, I'm going to go and see what this world is about. We want to accommodate them, probably more than accommodate them. We want to make sure that they have fun, exciting, immersive things to do wherever they choose to go in the world. So we took that as a sort of North Star. And then we built progression and leveling and difficulty balancing around that. I don't want to go north and then find that there's an area I can't go into because I'm not a sufficient level. We'll talk more about leveling and progression at a future date, but you should know that being able to go to any one of the settlements in the world and have fun things to do there was imperative to us. And so we shaped our progression around that requirement. So what he means by that North Star, that's a product management technique. What is the main thing we're trying to accomplish here? And when he said that there, instantly clicked in my head that that's what he wants. That is going to be one of the essence of the games, is that it's open world. You get to do what you want. It's your choice. They're not going to dictate where you go and the order you go into. They are truly trying to make this a really big immersive open world that you can just live in and do what you want. And that's something that I think is really awesome, I have to say, because that's sometimes in games that are, I kind of call them like they have their one foot in open world, but also linear. Red Dead Redemption 2 kind of comes to mind with this, where when you do a mission, they expect you to do it in a certain way because of cutscenes. Fable doesn't seem like it's going to be doing that. I hope that it's not like that at all. I want to see it where I can do what I want. My choices matter. My thinking matters, and I can handle the game any way I want. That sounds awesome. And so I really think them making that their true North Star of how they're going to make this game is imperative to how people are going to interact with it and deal with the game. So good on them for doing that. I feel like Xbox almost has a little bit of a sneaky hit with Fable. I know it's been hyped for a lot, but I want to see this game come out and see it succeed, because why wouldn't we want to play an awesome Fable game? I don't know about everybody that wants it to fail or anything. I don't like all that. I don't like the negativity. I just want to make sure that this game looks good, and I want it to play well, especially if they say it's going to be an open world. Now let's get into a little bit of the critiques. I have to say, the combat didn't look that great to me. I know. Some people are going to get up in arms, and I think everything surrounding the game, the world, the cities, everything about it looks awesome. Character building. You can interact with people in the villages. You can buy properties. They showed that, which is a huge Fable stable. And you can go do all these things around the world that kind of mark your impact on it. Yet the combat to me, I don't know, man. It didn't seem weighty to me. It didn't seem like it had a punch to it. It felt very almost stiff. And I have to say that I hope I'm wrong in that. I saw some magic. I saw them throw a fireball. I saw some lightning. I saw them mess around with swords, daggers, big heavy hammers, all this kind of stuff that I thought looked pretty cool, but I didn't feel like it had weight to it. I feel like they need a little more polishing around it, and I'm glad that this game's coming out a little bit later. They didn't really give a date on it because I think they're still in development. I think they're still kind of sharpening around the edges around it and making sure that this game is solid. But I also wanted to see if they talked about the combat at all, which is in the interview right here. How are you approaching combat? Fulton, we're taking the original game mix of melee, ranged magic, strength, skill, and will, and turning it into what we call style weaving combat. We wanted to create a combat system which was fluid enough to allow you to really fictionlessly, seamlessly swap from melee to ranged to magic without even a frame's delay on it. You should be able to strike with a sword and then hurl a fireball in a smooth movement. So that's what we've set out to achieve with combat. The combat scenarios that you're going to find in our game are often about groups of enemies and usually a tactical mix of enemies who will force you into choosing how you use your ranged, your melee, and your magic to crowd control and to pick them off, and really to navigate the particular combat challenge that a particular set of enemies present to you. And there is still ample variety within those styles to allow you to pick the kind of fighter you want to be. You can opt for big damage spells, you can opt for tactical crowd control spells, you can go super precise or really blunt force with your melee weapons. It's up to you. You can still self-express when you're in combat in our game, but it is all about cycling through and tactically using the different options available to you. That to me sounds great. I want to do that. I want to check it out, but I want to feel it in my hands because so far from what I saw from the developer direct, I didn't think the combat looked all that impressive to me. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it looks great. I hope it feels great. But so far, that's my biggest question mark. Everything else surrounding the game sounds cool. It sounds like they're trying to make it their own, but also kind of respect the history. They have the humor. They have a bunch of people in it. They have the peasants in the freaking towns that you can interact with. You could buy things. They interact with what you do in the world. So if you buy something and you're kind of like a slumlord, they won't like you. That looks cool. Now, I do want to say there's a couple other things in Fable that I enjoyed where you turn evil, you look evil. If you are good, you look good, stuff like that. I want to see that. I think that's coming a little bit later. They didn't want to show everything today, but man, I got to say that I'm a little excited for it, optimistically excited, because I think that the RPG world and the fantasy world, all of that, or the fairy tale world, if you want to call it that, has kind of progressed so far that there's a lot of standards that Fable needs to meet, and this is Playground's game first foray into that world, into that RPG world, open world. So let's hope they knock it out of the park, because I think they have a chance. Now, as for the other two games, I'll be honest, don't really care about them. I know that sounds harsh, but that pot game that I saw, I was like, man, I don't know what's happening here. It's just not, it's not my vibe. It seems kind of wonky and, you know, zany and all that, and I'm like, man, cool that you made it. I'm glad that it's like crazy looking and it's imaginative, but it's not my cup of tea. As for the other one, the Beast of Reincarnation, that one looked okay. I might check it out. I know it's day and date on Game Pass and all of that, but again, not really something that I'm crazy over. It honestly was just Forza Horizon 6 and Fable that I was there for. And I have to say that they knocked it out of the park with the presentation of both. I think that's something that Xbox does very well. So let's hope they keep that up. And I might do a little bit of a retrospective of Xbox after this video for tomorrow or Saturday, kind of give you a little bit of leeway to see what Xbox can do to keep this hype up, because I feel like Xbox, when they have these developer directs, they get a lot of good hype, a lot of good press, and people love it, but we'll see where that goes. But I like to know what everybody else thinks. What did you guys think about the Developer Direct? What was your favorite game you saw there? Did you think Fable looked awesome? Did you think Forza Horizon 6 looked amazing? Let me know down below, because I truly want to know what everybody thinks about this, because man, Xbox had a pretty decent show. Let's hope they can keep that up. And of course, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, hit that like button and that subscribe button. It helps out the channel more than you know. You can also follow me on Twitter at Zalker87. I'm always on there talking games, trying to post as much as I can. Not the best social media guy, but hey, I give it my all. And like I do with every other video, let me know what you're playing. I want to know what games you're playing currently. Right now, I'm still playing that Avatar game. Really cool, really enjoying it. Beautiful game, man. Beautiful game on PC. Like, stunning. So I really recommend people check that out. Let me know what you're playing down below, because I always want to know what games you're playing. And that's all for now, and thanks for watching. And so until next time, enjoy your gaming. Later.